Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm feeling very energetic. I put on my orange colors because it's the Easter time. It's my favorite time of the year. And it also marks the day of me starting to talk about famous composers, classic music composers mostly. You know about Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, Bach, all of them. We are going to talk about them, but I would love to start with one of my personal favorites, Sergei Prokofiev. Let's hop to the video. Sergei Prokofiev was born in 1891 in Ukraine. His parents were servants to the Sheremetyev family, who were one of the landlords of Ukraine. And Sheremetyev family used to make sure children of the house, including children of servants under their patronage, were taught theater and arts from an early age. As a servant's daughter, Maria, Prokofiev's mother, were taught how to play the piano and used to practice in the evenings. Sergei Prokofiev was inspired by hearing his mother practicing the piano in the evenings, mostly works of Chopin and Beethoven, and wrote his first piano composition at the age of 5, an Indian Galop, which was written down by his mother. Of course, because he was just 5 years old at the time, he did not use any of the black keys of the piano and chose the notes made only by white keys. Sadly, we do not have a recording of this composition, but we know that later, in his Cinderella suite, he used the same theme, only a bit faster, and it sounds like this. At the age of 9, he was composing his first opera, The Giant. A terrible giant tries to kidnap the little girl Ustinya, who is rescued by her friends Sergei and Yegorov with the assistance of a good king. The beginning of the 12-page opera sounds like this. If you noticed, both of the compositions had something in common. The sounds, the instruments, and the way that they are arranged represents the movements of a certain creature. In the Galop, the piano sounds like a horse running, and piano keys are the hooves hitting on the ground. The opening of the giant sounds like very big footsteps, as if a giant walking. You're right, Sergei Prokofiev liked to tell stories. We will come back to that. When he was around 11 years old, his mother arranged piano lessons for him, and he learned music theory and basic structure of music for several years. Despite his growing talent, Prokofiev's parents hesitated over starting their son on a musical career at such an early age and considered the possibility of him attending a good high school in St. Petersburg. And she and Prokofiev visited St. Petersburg to explore the possibility of moving there for his education. Introduced to composer Alexander Glazunov, a professor at St. Petersburg Conservatory, who asked to see Prokofiev and his music. Prokofiev had composed two more operas, Desert Islands and The Feast During the Plague, and was working on his fourth, Undina. Glazunov was so impressed that he urged Prokofiev's mother to have her son apply for admission to the conservatory. He passed the introductory tests and enrolled that year, but this made him several years younger to his class. Prokofiev was viewed as eccentric and arrogant. He always annoyed his classmates by pointing out their errors. But later, he himself learned that once you know the rules of making music, you're allowed to break them to get creative. That is where his music started to become different and unique. Because he liked to tell stories, he always told them through his music. The instruments are given the roles of the story, and music became the way they move and speak. He composed operas, ballets, and later film music. Some of his compositions you may know are Peter and the Wolf and Romeo and Juliet. So this was Sergei Prokofiev, you guys. As I told you before, he's one of my personal favorite composers, and because he's very creative and he likes to tell stories, I love telling stories. I love listening to them, as you can see. That is why I love his work. And I left 2 links down below in the description. One of them is Vancouver Symphony Orchestra is playing one of his works, and it is amazing. The conductor there tells this story amazingly. He's a great guy too. I hope you will enjoy it. And the second link is a play of the Peter and the Wolf. So hop to it, watch it, listen to it, and I bet you're gonna love it. After that, I sent you a couple of worksheets to finish. It is just for you to be able to remember what we talked about. You don't have to rush in and just finish it right away. You have a week in front of you until the next composer that we're going to talk about. And finish it, put it in your notebook, put it in one of the files that you have at home. Keep them close to you so you can remember once we talk about them again. Okay? See you next week.